Have you ever wondered how the first global conflict in history, World War I, began? It all started with a spark. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary in June of 1914 set off a chain of events that led to the outbreak of the war. This assassination triggered alliances and treaties that had been established between several nations. On one side, there were the Central Powers, which included Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. On the other side were the Allies, which included France, Russia, and the United Kingdom. These nations, driven by complex interlocking alliances, were pulled into a conflict that rapidly spread across Europe and beyond. It was like a gigantic domino effect, one country after another declaring war in a show of loyalty or aggression, and thus the stage was set for a war that would engulf the world. The war was expected to be swift, but it dragged on for 4 long years. Picture a chessboard with countries as pieces, making calculated moves, each decision shaping the course of this unprecedented global conflict. Major battles and turning points like the Battle of the Somme were not just mere footnotes in the annals of history, but transformative events that reshaped the world as we know it. In the Battle of the Somme, the British Army suffered 60,000 casualties on the first day alone. The offensive lasted for 5 months, with over 1 million men wounded or killed. This was the harsh reality of trench warfare, a grueling, mud-sodden, and harrowing experience where gains were measured not in miles but in yards. This was a war unlike any other. It was a showcase of the deadly efficiency of technological advancements. The romantic notions of cavalry charges were replaced with the brutal reality of machine guns, capable of mowing down rows of soldiers in seconds. The skies, once a realm of peace, now bore witness to aerial combat, with planes dropping bombs and engaging in dogfights. The seas were no longer safe havens as submarines lurked beneath the waves, ready to unleash torpedoes on unsuspecting ships. Perhaps the most terrifying innovation was chemical warfare. The introduction of poison gas brought a new level of horror to the battlefield. Gas masks became as essential as rifles, a grim testament to the changing face of war. All these advancements served one purpose: to break the deadlock of the trenches, to gain an advantage, to win the war. But the cost was astronomical. The war claimed more than 16 million lives and left over 20 million wounded. The war would claim millions of lives and leave countless others forever changed. This was a war where humanity's capacity for innovation and destruction was laid bare. The world had seen the dawn of a new era, an era where warfare was no longer confined to battlefields, but had the potential to engulf entire nations, and even the world. In 1918, the guns finally fell silent with the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. This supposed peace treaty imposed heavy penalties on Germany, fostering resentment and economic hardship. It stripped Germany of its military power, territorial gains, and placed the blame for the war squarely on its shoulders. This punitive peace led to a surge of bitterness that would later fuel the fires of World War II. Meanwhile, elsewhere, the war's end did not signify a return to peace and prosperity. The Russian Revolution had already begun, overthrowing the Tsarist autocracy and leading to the rise of the Soviet Union. In Italy, social unrest and economic instability paved the way for the rise of fascism, with Mussolini seizing power. The aftermath of World War I was a world in chaos, a world struggling to rebuild amidst the rubble of old empires. The world had been irrevocably changed, and the seeds of another, even more devastating conflict had been sown. Today, more than a century later, we remember the fallen of World War I. As the echoes of that colossal conflict fade into the annals of history, we hold on to the memory of those who made the ultimate sacrifice. The poppy, a small but poignant symbol, has come to represent their blood spilled on the battlefields. It serves as a powerful reminder of a war that shook the world to its core. In commemorating this war, we don't merely delve into the past. We strive to understand the causes, the hardships, and the human cost with the hope of preventing such devastation in the future. The world today is a testament to the lessons learned and yet to be learned from our history. As we look back on the events of World War I, we remember the lives lost, the courage shown, and the world that emerged from its ashes. We say, lest we forget,